This is the regular board meeting of December 12th, 2022 for the Board of Park District Commissioners of the Lake Bluff Park District in Lake County, Illinois. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Greenfield? Commissioner Lane? Here. Commissioner Raymore? Here. Commissioner Reeder?
Here.
Commissioner Walsh?
Here.
Commissioner Weber? And President Bueller.
Here. May I have a motion, please, because some of our commissioners are going to be participating via Zoom tonight, a motion to allow them to participate. So moved. Second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lane?
Yes.
Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeder?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
President Bueller.
Yes. And I know I look a little lost and forlorn here, being the only person up here. I just had a COVID exposure, so I'm following CDC guidelines, but everyone is truly socially distancing away from me tonight. May I have an approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Lane?
Yes.
Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeder?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
President Bueller.
Yes. We're now to the part of our agenda for the statement of visitors. This allows opportunity for citizens to address the board on any matters, as so approved with our last change to our policy manual. You can address the board on any unfinished or continuing business, new business action items, whether they are on or not on our agenda. There's a 3-minute limit per citizen after 30 minutes of statements by the public on these items, which are not, that are or are not listed on the agenda. I can close the floor. We have no citizens currently here participating with us tonight. Do we have any folks on Zoom?
We have no guests on Zoom.
Thank you. At that point then, I will close the statement of visitors. We move on to verbal communication and report from the staff.
You see that there's a pretty good report in there from the staff. It's updated from the different superintendents and myself. And so just highlighted some of the meetings that are going on, and of course a lot of the work has still been revolving around fine-tuning the budget and the tax levy, and just getting into our fall and winter programs and events, some busy events for the Park District. I'm going to have Superintendent Lakeman just give a quick update on a couple of events that we've had recently.
Sure. 2 weeks ago, we had Breakfast with Santa. I think I reported that one already. This past weekend, we had actually 2 events that were going on. We had a meet and greet Santa, and we were pretty busy that day, especially basketball going on. I would say there was probably close to 70 families that visited Santa. He was here from 10 to 12. On Sunday, we had our holiday dance program from all the people that were registering dance classes this past fall. And they were expecting right around, I think it was 500 people. Is that right now? We couldn't fit everybody in the gym, but we got quite a few people in there. Next year, they're going to stagger those times and do 2 different performances. Basketball program's going really well. We're over 50 kids compared to last year. This is the most. The most I've seen is right around the 125 mark, and we're at 176. So it shows, and that's eating up a lot of more gym time, but that's okay because it's a great in-house program. If you didn't see, we had all these pickleball players waiting to get into open pickleball today in the gym right afterwards. And there must have been at least 20 plus folks standing around waiting to play pickleball. So really excited to see the Park District so busy with people coming in and out.
Okay, that's all we have for staff.
Thank you. Finance, Administration, and Future Planning Committee.
Yeah, we did not meet, but we, accomplished a lot at our November meeting regarding the budget.
Thank you, Scott. All right, Parks and Beach Committee, again, we did not meet either. Anything from you, sir? No? Okay. Facilities and Programs Committee,
No, our rotation is in February.
good. Golf Committee,
The golf committee did meet, that was last week, and focus on it. I think John captured it really well in the executive report, where he states that there was introductions, responsibility of the committee members, the goals of the committee, and then ideas for enhancing the use of golf course while engaging in the community. So it was just the beginning, just to get everybody introduced to the process, and it was very well. It was a big meeting. It was supposed to be an hour, and it's an hour and a half. That was my fault.
thank you. Friends of Lake Bluff Parks,
They met last Monday. I was not there. John, do you have an update from it?
They were just, again, talking, about the fundraising. Ellen Granda was there. She's setting up more appointments to meet with the trustees one-on-one, each of them. And then just talking about how we receive the money, how we, track the donations and, all the way through the end and the thank you letter. So, so that was really a lot of what was covered. The next meeting was set for January 9th. So it'll be the same night as our committee of the whole meeting, but it'll be at 5 o'clock here in the building. So, and that was, otherwise.
So, and we've talked about another commissioner possibly taking this over, and there's one that is willing to do that. What's the process for that? I'm just asking on here just while I have everyone. I didn't know if there was anything we needed to do in a meeting.
I think we may need to vote on that to transfer it over, because we do vote those folks in.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they're usually quite per year, so we'd have to look and see what the process is.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll check into that. Okay. Commissioner comments? All right. President's report. Again, very briefly, I did attend the inaugural golf committee meeting, so there are a lot of folks with a lot of very good ideas and eager to start working on that. And I think this is an appropriate time to have that kind of liaison with Golf Visions to see how we can engage with the community. Speaking to what you just said, John, Ellen Granda is a consultant to the Friends of the Lake Bluff Parks. She and I just met very briefly. Incredible ideas for fundraising and really trying to engage the Park District Board and the Friends Board together to try to work for the benefit of the Park District. So I'm excited for her affiliation with the Friends Board and how the Friends Board is really going to come together with that. And just the last thing is, I'm not a big one for conspiracy theories or rumors, but I will address this because there's been some rumors going around about, and again, rumors, that the village could possibly take over the beach. The Park District could possibly be dissolved. I want to say very clearly that those are rumors. I know that this board stands very strongly with the Park District, with the executive director, with the staff that's on board. We enjoy serving. We believe in the mission and the statement of the Park District. So if anyone hears those kinds of rumors, it's certainly from this board that we stand behind the Park District.
I have not heard that rumor. Do we have any idea where the source could be?
And I don't want to, again, a couple of folks have approached me with that, and hearing that, I just want to make sure that if anyone else has heard those kinds of things, I want to speak from the board in that sense. Okay. Consent agenda. We have together here the approval of the minutes from November 28th, 2022, regular board meeting. The minutes from the August 9th, 2022, special board meeting. To approve the invoice schedule for the ACH payments for November of 2022. To approve the invoice schedule for the period of November 17th through December 8th of 2022, and the purchase cards ratification. Since this is all together, does anyone have any questions or comments on anything of this consent agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please, to approve the consent agenda in total?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lane?
Yes?
Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reader?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
President Bueller.
Yes. Finance Committee, or excuse me, Finance Report.
Board of Commissioners and President Bueller, I present the month-to-date and year-to-date financial report summary. As before, the Park District finances are continuing in a positive trajectory. Year-to-date revenues exceed the year-to-date budgeted revenues. The year-to-date expenses continue to come in under budget. Month-to-date revenues exceed the budget, as well as the month-to-date expenses are slightly over budget due to the timing of a debt service payment that is supposed to happen in December, but went into the books in November. So things are very positive, and the short-term outlook is positive. You know, we are also continuing to explore the option of investing the excess fund balance or the surplus fund balances, and that should happen over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and we will present at that time as well.
Does anyone have any questions for Will? May I have a motion to approve the... Oh, wait. No, it's to accept it. Yes, thank you. To accept the financial summary and the 2022 projections.
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Lane?
Yes.
Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reader?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
President Bueller.
Yes. Now on to our new business, which will start off with the 2023 budget. We did go through this at our last session, and now it is in a form that's ready for approval. Any significant changes you want to bring to our attention first?
The first significant change is the $65,000 golf lease proceeds, which will be $40,000 sort of additional payment, and then we're anticipating at least $25,000, which would be the 10% above the $800,000. That there was no sort of effective way for me to show that in the budget, and I realize now that I should have included a note at the bottom to make it crystal clear that that $65,000 is restricted for golf-related capital only. So if it is appropriate to look at the board to, I guess, make that change or accept or approve the budget with that change to be made, I think it would be a good decision. Also, what was discussed was the reimbursement from Friends for the $27,000 for the north staircase. That is also reflected now in the 2022 projected figures, as well as some smaller revenue changes to the positive from recreation.
Are the projected capital expenses for 2022, any changes to that? Is that part of this?
I think I'm not aware or I'm not aware of any changes from the last time to the 2022 projected capital. Just that the capital, so the 27, for example, for the staircase came out of the Park District and then it was refunded or reimbursed by the Friends.
Page 63, what we're looking at. For the capital,
What page is it?
63.
Thank you.
I had a question.
That's of the packet, not of the budget itself.
Okay, yeah, so there's okay. Wait in here.
We had the paddle capital improvement fee in there, and then one of the, I thought, things that we were doing with the pickleball, the same thing, that membership was all gonna go to capital improvement,
Not all of it
or
was.
some of it was?
There's a portion at the end that we'll put towards capital. I believe it's $20. I'd have to go back and look at the memo.
Okay, so is that reflected in here?
No, it wouldn't be reflected on that, no. But
Should it
we
be
will-
reflected in there?
yeah, we should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where would that change be?
I know it's a small amount of money, but it
Yes.
might grow really big.
So the memberships would go into the capital fund, is what you're saying, or excuse me, the general fund.
Would it go?
There should be a GL that we need to create, just like for paddle. That'll be, capital transfer. And it'll be, I do believe it's like $20 for membership, and right now we're at 26 memberships, so it should be about $520. But we should be keeping track of that. There needs to be a GL created. So Superintendent Nelson and I will discuss that first thing tomorrow to make sure that, that happens. And then the full transfer for paddle should happen before the first of the year, before we see what's.
So, and then just to confirm, the fairway mower under golf will be paid for from revenues from golf,
Yes.
right? So it's included in the 550,000, and this is just to show all capital expenses. Perhaps there should be a notation there as well.
Page 63.
Yes.
Okay.
I just also, I mentioned it to John earlier today, about, in the past, we had a couple things that I think would be nice to add to the budget plan, which is, our, strategic planning, decisions, objectives, and tactics that we used to put in here. The last time we had it was in 2020, so it'd be good to have it back in there, so, and it's, you know, all our goals, and it's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it would be nice so people can see it, that's kind of our blueprint of what, so it would be nice. In 2020 was the last time we had it in there, so if we can bring that back, that would be great.
Yes.
And then also, if you can add, like, in the 2022, we had the 10-year capital plan in here. If we can keep that in there too, that would be great. Just as a guide, you know how we always say they're living documents, like, and then it's just kind of one of those that when people go to look at this, it's kind of like, this is the kind of what we're following.
So our whole notebook is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so when they go, when, you know, citizens go, they can see, oh, there's a strategy, there's their 10-year plan, there's their budget, and it's all in one place, and then it's kind of like, oh, okay. It's easy for folks, trying to make it easier for people.
Right. I'll just make a comment, and this doesn't necessarily affect this, but I noticed that comparing year-to-year budget, the information is just presented just differently enough that it's, like last year when they presented the capital, rather than every year, they had it in buckets, so at some point we should talk about,
Yeah.
at least we need a cross map if we're gonna change the way we present.
Yeah, make it more consistent. Yeah. This is, hopefully we can have, this is our third year of 3 different people working on our finances with us here. With Josh last year, of course, Wolf this year, and Rich the year before, so hopefully we'll start to get some consistency, but, and make that a little bit more clear and consistent. I know for the capital, chair of the finance committee, Chair Weber has discussed having, finance committee meetings just to concentrate on the capital and really try to, get a good discussion about that going.
What do you mean?
Like, the 10-year capital, going through, it more in detail with each item with staff, and then, making a recommendation to the board.
Yeah, I would like to just kind of roll that into our later discussion on, kind of the 5-year plan, because I think that all kind of rolls together.
So that would be something, Scott, you'd address after this budget is approved? Do you have that kind of finance committee meeting about the 10-year capital? Like, understanding what you're doing with this or no?
The capital has been just more of an ongoing discussion, because especially that 10-year is just, like we said, that's a living document. Things come in and go. We talked to golf visions about some of the things that are on that list for golf, or we talked to staff, and something that, was set for next year, whether it's an HVAC or roof or something, as we get closer and we look at it, it might be able to be pushed back, or it might have to go the other way and move up. So it's something that continuously needs to be evaluated. But I think we're talking about having the finance committee just have a more in-depth discussion about the capital.
Oh, now I understand. Okay, so we have this, and just as Emily said, and Sue said as well, we have this up, we want to be consistent from year to year, we have everything all comprehensive. But as we make these changes in our capital plans, we need to account for those somehow and make sure that those are appropriately acknowledged. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, all right. I think that would be great, because I know as we go through the year, we see things come, we have different items that are approved for expenditure, and I think it would be a good way to be able to address that on an ongoing basis, so everybody has that all in one source versus notes from different meetings. I think it would be good. Okay.
Any other changes from the last meeting to this version?
None that I can recall right now.
So with these items that we just stated, the restriction for the golf-related capital fund, the reimbursement from the Friends, creating that code for the pickleball memberships and making sure that those are acknowledged, adding the strategic plan and the 10-year capital plan, and then obviously the finance committee meeting as they make adjustments to the year, throughout the year for the capital plan. Is there anything else that we need to address on the 2023 budget?
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
About the contractual, okay, what is that? It was like 50, exactly what that's for, just trying to, I know you mentioned it briefly to me. It was under the attorney's, professional planning services, 52,500.
Yeah,
So that's the strategy, and then what else is it?
Which page are you on?
66. $52,500.
Yeah, that was
That's the strategy, right,
the
consultant?
strategic plan. We put the marketing below.
Marketing is
Yeah,
separate, right,
Marketing is
10,000?
separate.
So what else is that?
Did we put the planning for Cliff Miller
Okay, for the ravine?
for the ravine, did that go here? Or was that at park maintenance for the,
That's a part of it.
park maintenance? Okay, so this was a strategic plan, was a big chunk. And what else did we put in there? Well,
There was a thing, some money set aside for grants, like a grant.
Oh, right.
right.
That was, yeah, that's it. Because
Okay.
it was to do, if we go after some of this bigger
Okay.
grants, to use a planning for
Great,
help with the grants.
I was just curious. Great, okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for the amount of work that goes into planning the 2023 budget and putting this all together with everyone from staff and to the board for taking the time to review. May I have a motion then to approve the 2023 budget, which will then be submitted to Lake County and posted on the Park District website?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call, Marcia, please.
Commissioner Lane,
yes.
Commissioner Raymore,
Yes.
Commissioner Reader,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Beeler.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We've got our work cut out for us for 2023. Good goals ahead. All right, next is the Lake Lake Park District Village North Shore Water Reclamation Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay, this is something that's still, I guess, in the works as we're trying to work it out. The village is set to, this is on their agenda for this evening, that they're considering this MOU, and possibly voting on it. The North Shore would like to vote on it on Wednesday at their meeting, and then award the bid to move forward. Speaking with our attorney and our insurance company, Paderma, there were some issues with the MOU, some insurance issues. Otherwise, Scott felt pretty comfortable with the MOU. We could work this out. We just have still a couple of issues to work out with Paderma. So Scott had recommended that we don't vote on it tonight, that we can bring it back to the board to vote next Monday. And that will be a special meeting to adopt a levy, tax levy, but this could be added as another item. And so, and that would give us a little bit more time to get the insurance issues worked out that would pertain to the MOU. So the main part of the MOU is just saying that, the Park District be responsible for the bathrooms. So the sanitary district is building those at our request for our operation, benefit our users. They would like in return that we will be responsible for those facilities. So if there is a plumbing issue, electrical issue, fixture breaks, the Park District would be responsible for this. We would take care of them, we would clean them, we would supply, we would supply the hand towels, toilet paper, et cetera. Which I think is reasonable. Again, they're building them for, for our purpose, for our benefit. We're able to get rid of the porta potties and the cost of porta potties by having these. So I think that's reasonable that we would be responsible for those. We are, for the outdoor shower that's there now, we take care of that. If there's a problem with it, we fix it, we winterize it. Our maintenance does that now. So we would just be taking responsibility for these. The issue that comes in with the insurance is that the land is owned by the village and it's leased by the sanitary district. So the Park District is nowhere, on that in writing as a part of that. For them to insure something that's, that we don't have something in writing that says it's either under our control or whatever. That's where the hangup is, so we're trying to work out, whether that would mean a sublease, for $1, so that our district name would be on it, so that's what we're trying to work out, but, hopefully, we'll be able to figure that out, and the village and sanitary district will, we'll both vote to approve it, and then hopefully they'll award the bid at the meeting on Wednesday and start to move forward. I know that the sanitary district's main concern was with the village, not with the park district, over, working out these details, and I spoke with their operating engineer, Steve Waters, last Friday, and it sounded like he felt like it's probably going to pass. It'll pass with the board, and they'll award the bid, so to move forward. And he felt that it still isn't going to affect that following summer. They're still going to be able to substantially finish the project by Memorial Day of 24.
Wow.
So I've been hopeful, but I guess we'll see what happens over the next few days.
Okay. All right.
How comfortable are they with starting 3 months later and still having the same finish date? I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, and Steve thought that he said he's been in contact with the low bidder. They've not awarded the bid yet, but he's been in contact with them, and they still felt pretty good about the timeline. So.
I'm sorry, what was the cause for that delay?
The sanitary district chose not to award the bid because they had concerns over this MOU, this agreement. And their strongest concerns are, between them and the village, not really the park district, or a part of it because of the bathrooms, but that was so when they had, I think it was at the November meeting, they chose to table it and not award the bid pending, working out the details of the MOU. So now I think they feel pretty comfortable with where that's at, and so hopefully they're gonna award it on Wednesday and then move forward.
Any idea as to when they might start?
Yeah, I think they could still start, in late December, January, with some of the work that they'll do. I think, Noah, you had a pretty good idea, some of the demolition or initial work that they can do with, regardless of the weather?
Correct. The weather shouldn't impact any demolition of the existing yacht club facility, or probably gonna have to bring in some silt fencing to protect the water from anything like runoff or any digging for the ground source. It should be fine. So they probably start some of the demolition and excavation soon, based on still it freezes, it gets too cold. Still do some work.
And they seem to have folks down there pretty regularly already working on the interior of the building.
That's the, is that the generator project?
They were doing some work with their generator too. There was the master control switch that changed over and the power failure to the generator. They were doing some upgrades to that like over.
Okay.
That was the last I heard when I talked to my counterpart with their side.
Okay. Okay. Good, all right, so what we will do then is just wait until the 19th for any action on this MOU.
Do we have any kind of, I don't know, leverage where we can ask for, a certain amount of money, like a penalty charge for every day over Memorial Day 2024 that they go with this? Can we add that in anywhere? Is that something we can do?
It is, a lot of times there'll be something like that. We wouldn't have leverage to do that, the village may.
That might incent them to, make sure it moves along.
The village is the one that approves their, the permits and all of that. So, and it's a good point, but I can bring that up with the village. I don't think that that's something that the park district is able to do, though.
Okay. Because it says like in the thing, it says the NSWRD must complete the project no later than May 24th, 2024 completion deadline. So I just didn't know if we could add something in there.
But the compensation would go back to the village, it wouldn't go back to the park district.
Right.
Well, I don't care who it goes to. I just want them to have to pay so they are more incented to get it done. It really doesn't matter to me. You know, I don't know. I mean, yes, it would cost us something, you know, obviously to not be running, you know, and not be, if we couldn't let people down there, but, you know, mostly it's just to get it done.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's anticipated already in our 23 budget as to our expenses and the loss of revenue for the beach, so.
People will probably still go to the other side of the beach, but, you know, it causes some issues for sure.
Yeah, with the sailing program with.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's more of their concern as well. Okay, no, that's a good point. Strategic plan update.
So the only thing I have for the strategic plan, I spoke with Drew from the village and Superintendent Laley. We're talking about doing with the tri-board meetings coming up in January or February, doing making those one or two of those public meetings to discuss the strategic plan in a public format, so that if, you know, residents want to come and hear about it or have some input, they would have that opportunity with the three agencies represented, as we normally do at the tri-board meetings. We just try and open that up to the public, and so there that would be kind of the, I guess, the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And we're you know, looking at our at different consultants that could give us a bid to our proposal to update our strategic plans. That money's been included in the budget, as we talked about earlier, so we're going to be, you know, gearing up to do that in 23.
And again, just the concept is, if there are any touch points that would affect the school, the village, and the park district, that's where we would kind of start the plan together. We'd obviously have very separate goals, very separate ideas for the strategic plan, but then see where we can come together as a community at the end. Because the thought was, you know, this is planning for the next 10 years. We're talking about families, both young and old. We're talking about how our community can be best serviced by these three entities. So it was really a very novel approach, and something I think we're excited about if it does pan out. So, thank you. All right, questions, anything? On to the next point, resolution 2022B, the 2023 regular board committee of the whole and committee meeting dates.
So I just note that the biggest interchange here is we're moving to from the second and fourth Monday to the first and third, where there aren't conflicts, which are noted on that page. So that's actual, you know, 152 of the budget page is the actual draft of the calendar. And so it's a lot of information, especially when you factor in the committees in there, but you can see at least we have we're showing the plan there for all of those meetings. So, but that's the biggest notable change, is going to the first and third Monday. That changes the committee to the second week.
Able to do that. Thank you, Sue, for that push. Any questions on our 2023 calendar? All right. May I have a motion, please, to approve the resolution 2022B, 2023 regular board committee of the whole and committee meeting dates? Second. Take your pick. The minutes on that.
That'll be planned.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lane? Yes. Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reader?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Bueller.
Yes. Communications written, we did have some folks who wrote in, and so a number of different items were brought forward by both of these two individuals who wrote into the Park District. And I'm glad that we're able to take a look at these. Any other correspondence besides these two that you met?
Yeah, those are we received.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions from commissioners? No?
I had a question.
Yes.
Just whether, for the future, so this was kind of based on the board policy that we wanted to create this, the email, the dedicated email, so that information would come straight to all the board members, and then they could choose whether they want to, the person writing the comment could choose whether they want to include the packet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, based on what we've seen with this one, whether you would want to put some guidelines on that, like, the only, for instance, to make it anonymous and then kind of take, shots at, staff and different things, I think that, that maybe it would be, then I don't know if it's worth including that in a packet. Obviously, the board is going to see it because it's automatically going to go to all the board.
Yeah.
But if I would say, my opinion would be that that they should, that the only way it would be included in the packet is if they want to include their name. It's going to be anonymous, then it wouldn't go to the packet because you could say anything about anybody, and it's just per our policy, it's going to go in. And as you can see, there were a lot of negative comments, some sort of the personal nature in that one, so that were inappropriate. So I'm not trying to stifle free speech, but they're also, they want to take shots at employees or board members or anybody else without. If somebody does, if they're going to include their name, then that's fine. At least they'll take ownership. But if you can just say anything, that's for the problem with the internet. You can do that all day long and not have to be responsible. So that was, my concern.
Any thoughts from anybody on this?
We have can we, black out names? Like their names are blacked out on this. Can we black out if anyone was, personally called out? Can we do that?
Well, we can still redact the names if,
Yeah.
At least, we would have, the Park District would have the information if they submitted their name, and if they didn't, and that's just anonymous, we don't know what's coming from. That's why I didn't think needed to be included necessarily in the packet.
Yep.
It seems to me, and I don't have the detail, but it seems to me that we are not silent in our policies on how we'll handle the letters. And I know we talked about this, but I guess I'd like to go back, and relook at the policy to say, what does that policy say? Because it seems to me it said that information will be shared, so.
It did, it was pretty, I think, general. I think it was just, if they want to share it, it will be shared. If they don't, it won't, that they would have to choose. But we didn't go into detail on what if they are making disparaging comments about staff or about board members, do we still include it? Or what if it's anonymous, or anything like that. I don't think it went into any detail.
Right. To me, the important thing is, when I look at what a board member is responsible for, we aren't responsible for the day-to-day operations. And I just want to make sure that we're consistent in our policy, that we're not over-managing things that aren't appropriate for us to manage, and what do we really need to see?
You get the flavor of two very different things from these two different emails. One is very laudatory, the other one is very critical. The one that's laudatory doesn't really single anyone out. The one that's critical doesn't single an individual out. It's critical of certain things. And with the past emails,
it does single at least one position out.
It does.
Doesn't, say a name, but, and that's a concern, because immediately, HR came to me about, putting this out, because of, if that employee can, if they were to figure out who they're referring to, they could be offended by this information that's going in a public packet and being discussed at the board.
Yeah.
So, that was my concern more about it.
Yeah, and the question really comes, is there anything actionable on what's being sent in? Because when someone sends in an email and there's something that we could really look at as to, the pool rates are too high, or, something very specific, we can look at that as a board and bring that back to staff, or staff can address something like that. I am, and looking at this, unless there's someone specifically, and I do understand that they don't name names, but they do talk about titles, unless it really is, something that really creates a concern. I mean, if somebody left this in the survey box, or somebody wrote the same kind of thing for the fitness survey, would we exclude it?
Right, we would not.
I'm sorry?
We would not exclude it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, but what if they did, the next one, what if they did name names? So then we stop.
I think,
So it's fine, I can bring back, say if you want to see what, was discussed as far as, when it was created, and, just relook at that policy, whether there should be any sort of guidelines, any other guidelines that should go with it as far as,
Yeah, I don't think you
future
should
time.
ever say somebody's name, I think,
I wouldn't bring
I think
their name
he had a good
for the
idea of
public.
like,
You might as well put the name here, there's only one person in that title, so I hope that's really different.
yeah. I know, but looking at, other emails too.
And I'm not talking about in that comment, the comments about me, I don't, that doesn't faze me, that doesn't bother me, it's the other comment, about a different employee, that's, potentially.
Well, we've received negative feedback before, right? And I remember seeing emails that were passed on to the board over the last couple of years that were similar in nature to this.
Yeah.
We need to hear it, we need to.
I absolutely agree. My question is put it in the packet.
Yeah.
That's my question. I think the board needs to, hear it and see it, and it's fine, so that's why we have a dedicated email, and it goes to all the board now. It doesn't get filtered, and, it goes to Jeff, myself, and all board members at the same time. So you see all of these emails that we see. And so the question is putting it in the packet, which is gonna be, put out in public domain and kept there. Does there need to be any sort of guidelines on
I think
if
there's,
somebody does make, even say worse comments than this, or they single out people by name, employees by name, or anything, should there be some sort of guidelines on what we'll print, or we're just gonna put everything in?
I think this is like an attorney question for the attorney, for Scott Kumar, because I remember him talking about some of these things about comments when he was going over like the ONA and things like that. I think this is kind of one of those things where I think it was a good idea, but we didn't think of all the different scenarios.
Permutations that we're gonna have.
This one should definitely be in the packet, in my opinion. Because this one should definitely be in the packet, in my opinion, because it's giving kind of specific feedback, and it's not directly personal towards anyone. But I can envision some cases where it can be, and I think we should have a discussion about that. Yeah. Or just inappropriate.
Okay.
So.
Or threatening, or,
Right. Inappropriate.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
There needs to be some guidelines.
Yeah.
No guidelines. Okay. We'll add that as a committee of the whole discussion.
Like it could get really negative in the sense where you just vulgar and threat and.
I don't know.
And how is that productive? How does that help? right? Because it's supposed to be helpful, like how can we be better as part of the district, right?
Yeah, although I don't think we can police how people say things necessarily, but there is some kind of.
I do remember the attorney saying there's certain things where you can say, like even if somebody's speaking or like attacking us, we could say, okay, that's it.
Right.
So kind of the same thing I'm thinking.
Right.
There needs to be guidelines like that. We're not gonna just have somebody sit there and attack. I mean, we can do that, that's part of.
We'll have to, yeah, I'd be interested in see what the attorney says about that.
Put it on there, good point. All right, executive session. Nikki, would you like to read us in?
Yes, so I move we go into executive session for the discussion of the meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act, whether for purposes of approval by the district of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06 per 5 ILCS 120/C21.
Second?
Second.
So this point, as you do the vote, we would close the Zoom which means we'll lose Scott and if we don't have a separate Zoom right now set up for the executive session.
Okay.
And fortunately, we won't need to get a forum.
All right.
And so the other thing I would say is we won't come back, so for anybody that's online, we right now have one attendee that's a participant that we would not come back into open session on Zoom after this to finish the meeting.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the board. Scott and Nikki, you understand that when we close down the Zoom with the vote on this, you won't be returning to us after that?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. Can I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Lane?
Yes.
Commissioner Raymore?
Yes.
Commissioner Reader?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
President Bueller?
Yes.
So at this point, we're going to excuse staff, and there will be no action that will affect staff, so you will not need to wait around to be able to leave at this point.
Thank you.
So we're staying on, but we're not coming back.
No.
You don't need to stay on, we're going to disconnect, and we won't come back with a Zoom. There's not going to be any action other than the.
I see. So we're just saying bye-bye.